Hi, I'm Olivia,
Hi, I'm Maggie.
and this is Girls Talk Film. And we're the girls.
We're talking some film.
Kind of not too ambiguous, really, what this is.
No, we're pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. We thought best to tell you up front.
Yeah, you know what you're getting with this podcast.
Exactly.
There's no surprises thrown at you. Nope, nothing like that. Interesting topic this week.
Yes, this week we are talking about wealth on film. I was excited for this one.
I was excited because I think it's a really unique topic to focus on. Like, I feel like a lot of, well, okay, I shouldn't say a lot. I feel like some of our episodes in the past have been very like common, almost like safe choices for topics.
Yeah.
Like musicals and,
Fairy
fairy
tales
tales
and
and
stuff.
not us finishing each other's sentences.
We've done a few of these now.
Yeah. But I feel like Wealth is one of those ones where there's so many different types of movies that portray wealth in so many different ways.
No, I totally agree with you. There are definitely some tropes that I feel like I see common threads through portrayals of wealthy people, both in books and in movies.
Right.
Like you see the gilded cage, like the lonely woman in her big house who's still unhappy. Obviously the corrupt, like, I mean, we're talking about the Wolf of Wall Street today, so Jordan Belfort would be a great example.
Right.
Of the climbers who have to somehow corrupt themselves on their road to riches.
I also feel like there's kind of a weird, maybe there's a term for it that you know and I don't, where it's kind of like the person who's now climbed that falls into corruption, not on their way to wealth, but because of the wealth that they've acquired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we jump into it, I actually am curious what your thoughts are. So our three movies that we watched this week are Metropolitan, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Parasite. How do you think that wealth is shown just across the three films? Do you think that wealth is the thing that corrupts? Or is it the thing that allows the characters to be corrupt?
Wow, that's a really good question. I don't know. I want to say in the three examples, like the three specific movies that we've picked, I feel like it's the people and not the wealth itself. But it's hard because I think in real life, it's almost the opposite, if that makes sense. Like, I think wealth can turn quote unquote normal people into very corrupt people. It can bring out the worst in people in a lot of ways. But I think in the three movies that we watched specifically, I lean a little bit more towards these people always had that inside of them, or they were always corrupt, and the wealth is just kind of a tool that they can use.
Yeah, I felt a similar way.
Really?
Yeah, especially because two of the three films that we watched are relatively sympathetic to the wealthier characters.
So the first movie that we're talking about was made in 1990. It is called Metropolitan. It is a comedy drama, a very independent film.
Yeah, the director and writer, Whit Stillman, actually made the film with his own money. He made it for $210,000, and he financed it by selling his apartment.
That part I didn't know. So when you told me that, I was like, that's insane.
I know, right?
I mean, respect,
and guess what? He continued to make movies after this.
Yeah,
and then was able to get funding for his future films because people liked this one so much.
Yeah. It was distributed by New Line Cinema, and it premiered at the 1990 Sundance Film Festival. It had a very limited theatrical release in August of 1990, and it actually received an Academy Award nomination for Best Screenplay, which I did not know. This movie was like, I recommended this movie to watch. I'd seen it once before. I liked it, but like, I think it was recommended to me by another friend who was very into it. And like, when I tell you, I like to consider myself someone who like knows a lot of movies, like even movies I haven't seen, I just know them. And so when my friend was like, oh, I think you would really like this movie, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, this movie is so off the radar.
Yeah. For some reason, I guess because I'm also one of those people that I feel like knows a lot of movies, even if I haven't seen all of them. This had been on my Letterboxd watch list for 3 years.
Oh, really?
It's one of those that kind of sat at the bottom of the watch list as more films kept piling up on it.
Right. There's no rush to go see this movie.
No.
No.
But it had been on my radar as something I might be interested in. This was a first watch for me. And I would say overall, I enjoyed it. It's pretty frothy, I would say.
It's very lukewarm.
Yeah. I didn't have strong feelings about it.
I don't think it's not a movie to really invoke strong feelings, if that makes sense.
No. It feels very literary.
Yes. That's actually a perfect word to describe it.
Yeah. Even the way that the characters speak, the words that they use, like very few people will use the word nonetheless.
Or like furthermore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in everyday conversation.
Totally.
So it felt very written, which I didn't always hate.
No, there's also a lot of allusions to literature in this movie. So like, I think it's very purposeful.
Yes. So it is very blatantly an homage to the work of Jane Austen. This is a film about the societal elite sitting around in rooms discussing philosophy and morality and sociology. And it's a bit of a comedy of manners.
Totally. Yeah. I enjoy this movie. I'll get into like how I feel about it overall and how I feel about it in comparison to like the topic we're talking about today.
Yeah.
After, but I like it. It's an interesting movie.
It's an interesting one. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
So our main character is a middle-class Princeton student named Tom Townsend who attends a debutante ball one evening kind of on a whim. It's fleshed out later that he explicitly does not like those kind of events because he's not part of the upper class. He thinks it's all like stuffy and horrible. Tom is played by Edward Clements, who I had not seen in anything before this.
No, this cast, it's a very small cast. It's only like 8 people, really. And really everyone is an unknown, which I actually really like.
I did. It allowed me to see them all as the characters.
Yeah, you're not watching like Margot Robbie or like, you're not watching these fancy, famous Hollywood actors trying. It's also nice because they're young kids. Like they're supposed to be like what? Like
supposedly
like 19. Yeah. And it's nice because they clearly are at least very close to the age they're portraying.
Yes.
Which is something you don't see in Hollywood a lot. So it's a nice, very refreshing.
That's a major pet peeve of mine. Like
when like a 30-year-old is playing like a 15-year-old?
Euphoria was so hard for me to watch because I'm just watching these literal 28-year-olds like strutting down high school hallways. It's like, I would have thought you were the teacher, girl.
No, yeah. It's like, yes, they look good, but like you're not fooling anyone. Like
you're not
in
a
high
school.
school.
Have you seen a high schooler?
Yeah.
When you like get older and then see high schoolers, you don't realize how young they look.
No.
Like they look like children.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it's so funny. But yeah, no, it is nice to see actors actually playing what seems like their age.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they're any older than like 22.
No.
After the debutante ball, a little mix-up happens with some taxis, and it leads to Tom meeting a small group of young Upper East Side socialites known as the Sally Fowler Rat Pack. Imagine naming your friend group that.
I mean, because this was, 1990? So the Rat Pack was such a thing.
It's just so funny that they refer to themselves as that.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any like group of friends who give their group a name that someone else gave them. It's always they name themselves.
There was a like very popular, when I was in high school, there was a friend group that I was like kind of friendly with, but I wasn't in the friend group. And they named themselves. And when I tell you, like, their name was like
so cringe. I'm sorry. That's so cringe.
It was like you had to be there moment because it was kind of iconic, but it also was like a little cringe.
And did everyone else know it?
Oh, yeah. Like the whole school knew it.
I hate that.
And then like another group tried to like play off of that. And we were like, you can't beat the originals.
No. Like one group can do it and get away with it. When it's two, it's like, what is this, West Side Story?
No,
like-
and it like made sense for that group because that was just kind of who they were. And then like the people who tried to like copy it were like the more like, I hate to be like the popular group, but like they were trying to like be cool. I don't even know what the
Yeah.
word would be. And I remember everyone was like, don't do that.
So funny.
It was a little embarrassing. So this rat pack is like part of the Upper East Side socialite group, and they usually have these like after parties at their respective apartments.
Yes, and they're called the Sally Fowler Rat Pack because that Sally Fowler is the girl who hosts most of the parties.
Yeah.
So it's like they're always kind of gathering at her apartment.
So they invite Tom to this party because they think that they like accidentally stole his taxi, and they're like, oh, come with us. He decides to go.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. He goes, he befriends several of the other attendees, including Nick Smith, who is a cynical teenager who kind of takes Tom under his wing. He's kind of like the leader in a few ways.
I would say the movie kind of positions this character, Nick, as the leader of the group. Nick is played by Christopher Eggleston.
He was my favorite.
Same. I
Yeah.
thought he was really good.
I thought he was really good. And like,
and
Nick,
he made the dialogue sound the most natural throughout.
totally. He plays the like socialite role very well. And again, he's just the most entertaining in my opinion.
He is. You know when you can watch something and tell that the actor's having fun.
Yes,
This
that's
felt
a perfect
like
way to
that.
say it. So along with Nick, there's Audrey, who enjoys Regency era literature and develops a crush on Tom pretty early on.
Yeah, she's cute.
There's Charlie, who's very philosophical and has this unrequited love for Audrey. Tom learns that he and the Rat Pack have some common friends too, specifically his ex-girlfriend Serena, who is revealed to be kind of this like
Player.
serial cheater. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like probably my favorite moment in the film when they're like, "Oh my god, of course you know Serena. Every guy knows Serena. You know that she's just really fast at writing letters. So she just like writes letters to all these guys. They all think they're dating her. So how do you know her?"
And Tom is like, I thought I was her boyfriend. Like, he's like, oh shit.
And they're like, "Oh wait, we read your letters. Like
Yeah,
they were good."
That's the
I
worst
lost
part.
it. Yeah.
When they're like, oh yeah, your letters were actually really insightful. And he's like, she let you read my letters?
They go, "No, she read them to us."
Yeah. Like, and I love the line where one of the girls is like, I mean, Serena's basically a good person. Like,
Yes.
like that is such a funny, like, backhanded compliment. But yeah, I just think that's such a great line. It's such an interesting dynamic. First of all, these parties are fucking hilarious. All they do is sit around and fucking talk. Like,
I was gonna say, dream party.
oh, I wrote
This
Wait.
is the life that they have in this film. This is my dream.
I'm so
not
sorry.
Wolf of Wall Street, not Ragers. I want to sit around and drink sherry out of little glasses and talk about philosophy. That looked like so much fun.
Olivia, I'm so sorry. I wrote, if I was at this party, I'd shoot myself. Most boring shit I've ever seen. I go, where is the cocaine? Where is the like, I was like, this is the 1980s, people. Like,
Where are the titties?
I was like, wasn't this like the party era? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? They all literally, and keep in mind, they're 19. They're college students.
No, but they're trying to be, which I think is
Yeah.
kind of a part of it, is that they want to be these like very high-end socialites, but they're children.
Yes, totally. They are definitely playing their parts.
Yes.
And I think they make that known. Like at one point, the most like scandalous thing they do is play strip poker, and it is played like so professionally. You would think that they're like in a casino. They're like, no one's like, you know, getting a little like flirty. Everyone is just sitting around like playing their cards. Like it is a business transaction. That game of
Yes.
stretch. It's just so insane.
I actually really enjoyed that scene, that they all were way more invested in the poker than in the stripping.
Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
Yeah. So Tom kind of integrates himself into the Rat Pack and soon becomes part of this group. Like,
Yeah.
Again, aside from him kind of being like against upper class society.
Yeah, he he writes his Princeton essays about Marxism, and he's like that guy.
Yeah.
He kind of is passive aggressive to them at one point because they take a lot of taxis.
Yeah. And he walks or he takes public transportation. He never takes taxis.
Yeah, and then one of them just calls him out, and they're like, "Oh, you're one of those people that looks down on people that take taxis."
It's
and he's like,
Nick.
No.
Yeah, it's Nick.
That's
and that's why
right.
he's my favorite, because he is like very just like out with it.
Yeah. So yeah, Tom kind of becomes a full member of the Rat Pack and very much under Nick's wing. Like they're the closest and Nick kind of teaches him the ways of this group. Most of the film is just comprised of dialogues in apartments where Tom and the Rat Pack discuss the very elite social scene that they're in. They discuss a lot of literature. This is kind of where Whit Stillman makes his direct allegories. They do talk about Jane Austen a lot and they talk about, you know, why Jane Austen's novels couldn't be written today. And it's, you know, it's ironic because we're watching basically a Jane Austen novel. And
it's the movie never really like hits you hard with any kind of commentary.
No.
I would say the biggest like commentary, aside from like, it's not even commentary, like the allusions towards Jane Austen's work, but I would say like in terms of like wealth, the commentary it's making is more so kind of just like how these kids, along with like trying to find their place in the world, are also trying to like you said earlier, like fit these roles in this like socialized society that's like that we very quickly dying.
Exactly. And these are the roles that we can only imagine they see their parents occupy.
Totally.
So they're trying to emulate the people that brought them up in this world.
Yeah, but I mean, I forget which one it is.
There is also just the sheer irony of these children dressed up like adults in fancy apartments, literally above the city, like philosophizing on like sociology and like social structures in these like lavish apartments.
Oh, totally.
Like there is something deeply ironic just about that in itself.
It's rich kids playing dress up.
Exactly.
And it's also Charlie is constantly, he's the very philosophical one. He's always kind of bringing up these debates and stuff like that. But it's funny because he, even like a large part of his character is kind of talking about like the failure that all these like upper class kids are kind of doomed to experience. Like once they leave this bubble of like, again, like growing up kind of under your parents' wealth and going out into the real world. And so I guess that could be also like what the commentary on it is. But at no point does the movie really hit you hard with like a message that is trying to shove down your throat.
No, I would agree with you.
No. So during one of these parties, Tom reveals that he actually too was raised very wealthy, but his father abandoned his family to marry another woman, leaving Tom and his mother with very limited financial resources. As a result, Tom harbors a kind of like love-hate relationship with wealth and the upper class and this whole New York scene. Yeah.
It's soon revealed that Serena, who's Tom's ex-girlfriend, who we later find out was a lot of people's ex-girlfriend, is dating Rick von Stoneker, who is a young aristocrat who's really notorious for womanizing. So it's also kind of like, okay, yeah, like that makes sense.
He, first of all, it's like a supervillain name. Like,
it's the best. I'm obsessed with when rich people in television shows have rich names, like Serena Vanderwoodson.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that? Like, that's not a person.
No.
Serena Vanderwoodson is like the concept of a rich person. And because Tom is like still in love with Serena, even though he knows that their relationship didn't really mean anything to her, he is very upset by this. And then at a party after the International Debutante Ball, Nick alienates himself from the group by like flat out accusing Rick of getting a girl drunk and, to not get into detail, like getting a girl drunk and assaulting her.
Yeah.
Or coercing her.
Yeah, I would say maybe that's a better word.
Yeah.
But like definitely manipulating her.
Yes. And then that girl apparently committed suicide.
Yes, that whole scene, that actually might have been my favorite scene in the movie. Just because it felt the most like kind of climactic. Yeah. And also, again, Nick is my favorite character in this movie by far.
He's the best one.
I said to you, I was like, I think Tom is kind of I think one of the weaker things in this movie, and one of like the things that kind of doesn't bring it all the way up to a great movie, is that Tom is not a great main character to follow. He's kind of boring, and he's a little bit like, I don't know, he's just so whatever as a main character.
You know what? I actually have that same problem with a lot of media that centers around wealth and wealthy people. So many of those kinds of films or books follow that one kind of audience insert character who's not from that world. So we as viewers get to see it through their eyes, kind of. And they're always the most boring character. Always. And we always have to follow them in so many of these kinds of films. I'm trying to think of another example, but just nothing's coming to mind.
Right. It's like you've put yourself on the spot now.
I know, but like Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
Just as one that pops up.
I understand it to a degree because, like, again, Tom is supposed to be the audience insert. He's supposed to be the one who we relate to, who's witnessing this world for the first time, like so many of us are. But like, it's just, I wish his character, I don't know, he's not even very opinionated.
No.
He's very reserved. And I don't know if this is more the actor's portrayal or just how Tom is written. I think it's probably a combination of both.
Again, just because the film is so heavily written, like, I don't think there was much room for the actors to play in the writing. Like, it feels very written.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably the writing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I like this scene the best because Nick is the focal point, and he is so entertaining to watch. First of all, he's fucking hilarious.
He's so good.
He has the best one-liners I've ever seen in a movie. He is so fucking like posh in a way.
Yes.
But he's so mean.
But leans into it in a really fun way.
But yeah, this scene is pretty intense. So when challenged with this like story that Rick says Nick made up, and Nick actually does confess to Tom earlier in the movie, he says he does make it up, but he admits that the story is a composite of incidents that like has happened in Rick's life that he's caused. So he insists that it's based off of real events. He's like, yes, this one girl doesn't exist and this particular story doesn't exist, but like you have done very similar things to like all types of like all different girls, which like we learn later is kind of true.
Yeah.
Like there was a real girl who Rick did sleep with and kind of like manipulate, and she did end up killing herself very sadly. But like, so Nick's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all. He was in this case lying.
Yes, yeah, he did lie, which didn't look great. So he very quickly, it's more coincidental, but Nick leaves Manhattan because he's invited by his father to like go, I don't know, their beach house or something. So he leaves Manhattan, and before he leaves, he gives Tom his top hat as a token of friendship. The top hat?
I can't.
It's so insane. Like
he wears it throughout the film.
It's hilarious. Can we start bringing that back, please?
I'm into that.
Like top hats specifically, nothing else.
Yes. Well, also I do love a monocle.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like blind in one eye and fine in the other. Like my glasses are just, one lens is just glass.
My sister has that.
Why can't we wear monocles?
I mean, who says you can't? Like, just
my
start doing
mom,
it.
she wouldn't let me get one when I was a kid because she was like, "You don't want to be the weird monocle kid." I'm like, "I'd be the cool monocle kid."
You're like,
Mom,
I'm already the weird kid. Let me just get the monocle.
Let's lean into it,
right?
Like,
let me just own it.
Yeah, it's not like what reputation is this ruining? Really?
What are we fighting here? We're losing that battle.
Audrey has had this like huge crush on Tom. She thinks that Tom isn't interested in her, and she decides to leave Manhattan for the summer to spend the rest of her vacation in the Hamptons with Rick, who also left to go to the Hamptons, and another girl from the Rat Pack named Cynthia.
I mean, she's not wrong. Tom is not interested in her.
No.
The second Serena comes back into the story, he is all about her again. I actually feel bad for Audrey.
I do
She
too.
cannot catch a break in this movie.
No, she like takes it from every side.
Yeah.
And it's rough, and she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she is a sweet girl. Tom very quickly realizes, however, that he has developed feelings for Audrey. I mean, like, she is the only one who he like really connects with.
Yeah.
Like on a deeper level than just kind of like these little gabs that they have at these parties.
Exactly. Like there's always the difference between your party friends and the people that you meet and actually have a connection with.
Totally.
And I actually did feel like this film showed that quite well.
I also really like how when he's with Serena and then afterwards he's talking to Charlie and he's like, you know, I felt really lonely when I was with Serena. And he's like, and I was missing Audrey. And I thought that was actually a very sweet scene because like it's just such a great way to describe how having a crush feels or like how when you discover you have feelings for someone, like all you want to do is be around that person.
Yes.
And even if you're around other people, you feel lonely in a weird way.
That's so true.
I thought that specifically was very cute.
If I'm being completely honest, that line kind of flew over my head when I was watching it, but hearing you talk about it, no, that is really sweet.
So Tom recruits Charlie to help him rescue her from Rick. I found this funny too, that she needs rescuing.
No, they like know that she's with Rick and they're like, okay, so she's in danger.
Right. I mean, like, one, it speaks to like what a scumbag Rick is.
True, but it's like Rick is just a scumbag. He's not a supervillain.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. They're like also, so they assume that Audrey will sleep with Rick because one, Rick is like a manipulator, but two, Audrey is like feeling kind of down on her luck and insecure because she's been, you know, kind of turned away by Tom. And I love how they just assume that. Like, they're like, well, she'll definitely sleep with him. And it's
It wasn't even a question.
Yeah. They literally, they travel to the Hamptons together via car.
Like to rescue her.
Yeah.
Because they're like, she's in trouble.
Yeah. And of course they find Audrey completely fine. She's like sitting reading her book.
Yeah. She's like, wait, why are you here?
Yeah. Tom and Charlie instigate a fight with Rick. And it ends with them being kicked out of his beach house because they just showed up unannounced
and then picked a fight with him.
And
also
it's his
accused
house.
him
Him of being like a sexual offender, which like low key he is, but like
they insinuate that he is, but it's that fine line between like, are you just an asshole and like a bad person or like an offender,
right? Or like an actual danger.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, Audrey is like, yeah, no, I'm fine. Like, you thought I would sleep with him? Why? Because I was a little sad? I'm sad every day of my life. She's like, I have not stopped crying since this movie started.
Yeah, no, literally.
Literally. So her and Tom talk on the beach, and Audrey says that she is planning to attend college in France, and Tom, like, kind of, like, thinks about visiting her there, kind of
or like maybe going to college in the area.
Yeah, which, like, baby, you go to Princeton. Like, just stay at school. Tom, Audrey, and Charlie began hitchhiking together towards Manhattan, and that's where the movie ends.
I liked the ending.
Really?
I actually did like the ending, yeah. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was fun. It felt like they're finally acting like kids. I enjoyed it. I'd give this one 6, maybe.
6?
Give it a 6.
I said I would probably give it, like, a 5.56 out of 10. Like, same rating.
I enjoyed it. I had like a decent time watching it. I don't think it's something I'll seek out again, but for a kind of enjoyable, low budget indie moment, cute. Like, I thought it was cute. I don't think it had a ton that it wanted to say about wealth.
Yeah.
What I did kind of like about it, though, is again, so many films that deal with wealthy people or wealth in general really love to luxuriate in the settings and the beauty of the settings. I mean, I would say The Wolf of Wall Street and Parasite definitely do that.
100%.
That this film's budgetary constraints didn't really allow for that.
Right. It's not. And it's also like, I mean, I think because of the budgetary constraints, but also like that's not what the movie's about. Like, it doesn't show you these big, fabulous debutante balls because it's not about the society itself.
It's about what happens after that.
Totally.
When like the kids get together.
Yeah. It's about these kids and them trying to kind of figure out their place in the world, but also like while also trying to fit these molds that they feel like they have to fit in this like wealthy society. I like this movie. I gotta admit, the first time I watched it, I really liked it. And the second time I watched it, I was like a little bit more like in the middle.
Okay,
Yeah, totally.
Fair enough. I feel like I've enjoyed us talking about it more than I enjoyed watching the film like by myself.
Totally.
So maybe this is something that would be more fun to watch with other people. Like I wouldn't steer anyone away from watching it. I would be really surprised if anyone told me this was their favorite film.
Yeah, their favorite film, I'd be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, but I wouldn't steer anyone away from watching it.
The last thing I'll say is, and I said this to you off camera, but as someone who really likes filmmaking, I really enjoy this movie because watching this movie, and I know it's not made like this. I know, Whit Stillman is like a professional and he made this movie, albeit with a small budget. But watching this movie, it reminds me of other like really small movies I love. It reminds me of like The Brothers McMullen, and it reminds me of movies like Once, because it feels like a really well-made student film.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And it makes me very like motivated or inspired in a sense, because you're like, oh wow, you can make a really good movie or a really solid movie, and you don't need like, a super fancy camera and like $1 million put into production. Like this movie was made for $200,000, you said?
Yeah.
And it's made on like a cheap camera. And again, it's set in like very few locations, and it's good. Like
and it feels like a movie. It does. It doesn't feel limited by budget.
No, not at all. And so just like for any like indie filmmakers or aspiring filmmakers, it is like kind of nice to watch in that sense, because you're like, oh wow, like I don't need all these fancy things to make a good movie. Like I just need a good script, I need actors, and I need like the drive.
So the next film we're going to talk about is The Wolf of Wall Street. Of course, we're doing a wealth episode. We have to talk about it.
Right.
Martin Scorsese directed, film from 2013. It was written by Terrence Winter and based on Jordan Belfort's autobiography, which is also titled The Wolf of Wall Street.
This is I have a lot of opinions about this movie.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Overall, great movie. You can't say a Martin Scorsese movie is bad. Like you just can't.
I don't like The Age of Innocence. I think it's bad.
Oh, all right. Shit, I guess you can.
Sorry.
To be fair, I don't think I've seen The Age of Innocence.
You don't have to.
Okay, good. Okay, so I guess you can say Martin Scorsese's bad, but it's very rare.
Very rare. Yeah.
And it's not the case here. Like, this isn't a badly made movie.
This is one of my favorite Martin Scorsese movies, actually.
Yes, I did know that.
Yes. I really like this film. You may know it from your boyfriend's dorm room poster.
Perfect way to describe this movie.
Yeah, but don't let that turn you off. It is actually very good. I think that this is DiCaprio's best performance. Like, point blank, period. This is my favorite DiCaprio performance.
My favorite, I wouldn't say that. Definitely like my top 5, if not my top 3 of his.
It's what he does in this is so impressive. He's so charismatic and so charming, but also so slimy and horrible. His physical comedy.
Oh, it's crazy.
Is so good. There's one of my favorite if not my favorite scene of physical comedy ever is in this film. This movie also holds the Guinness World Record for the most instances of swearing in a major motion picture. It has an average of 2.81 fucks per minute.
2.81 fucks per minute is crazy.
I know.
All right, let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. Okay, set the scene. It is 1987. Jordan Belfort is 25 years old. He is newly married to Teresa Petrillo, who is a hairdresser. He has just landed a job on Wall Street for L.F. Rothschild. My tongue is just gonna twist all around that. Mm-hmm. He's a stockbroker, and he is employed under Mark Hanna, who's played by Matthew McConaughey for a few scenes early in the film.
Like 2 scenes.
But some of the best scenes in the film.
True.
He is very quickly enticed by the drug-fueled culture of Wall Street in the 80s. And Hannah kind of instills this belief in him that a broker's only goal should be making money for themselves.
Yes, however, this is quickly lived out. Jordan loses his job following Black Monday, which is the largest one-day stock market drop in history after the Wall Street crash of 1929.
You know what's actually really funny? And I feel like I'm getting this wrong, but I really feel like my mom told me that my uncle first started working on Wall Street also like 3 weeks before the crash happened. So he started his job and then like 3 weeks in he was fired.
Is his name Jordan Belfort?
Unfortunately, no.
He quickly takes a job at Investor Center, which is a strip mall brokerage firm on Long Island that specializes in pink sheet penny stocks.
Yeah, and Jordan is really quickly shown to be like an aggressive, charismatic pitcher. So he very quickly like climbs the ranks, and because he's working with pink sheets, the sales commission is really high.
Yeah.
So he very quickly makes a lot of money just because he's so much better than all of the other guys working in this firm.
I mean, again, I have a lot of opinions on this movie, and a lot of them are on Jordan Belfort and him as our main character. But one thing I will say about the guy is he is a good seller.
Oh, he's shown, at least as DiCaprio plays him,
Totally.
like incredible. So Jordan has now made a little bit of money. He befriends his neighbor, Donnie Azoff, who's played by Jonah Hill. This is also my favorite Jonah Hill performance, but I don't think that's controversial to say that this is his best role. I feel like a lot of people agree with me. So the two decide to start their own like boiler room style brokerage firm. They recruit Jordan's childhood friends, who mostly are all weed dealers, and as well as like a more infamous local drug dealer named Brad Bonnick, who's played by John Bernthal.
I forgot he was in this movie.
Same. He's like funny in this. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he's great.
And all of whom Jordan kind of trains in the art of the hard sell and teaches them his ways, essentially, and turns them all into swindlers, really. They set up the company in an abandoned auto repair shop. They pretty quickly find success. They start this scheme. It's a pump and dump scheme in which, just for those who don't know what pump and dump is, misleading positive statements to inflate a stock's value so it can be sold at an artificially high price. In the film, there's a scene where what are they trying to sell stock for early on at the beginning?
I don't know what like the stock is for, but I think Jordan's wife Teresa is like, well, these companies are like pretty shit, right? Like they're not going to actually make anyone money.
But he was trying to. They show him on the phone describing.
I know at one point they're selling like tires and like
but
like,
describing like, oh, it's a startup, like it's making a lot of money, it's cutting edge, and then it cuts to a shot of like the building, and it's this horrible rundown like shack basically, and people are like, oh, you're like you're convincing people to buy stock in this company, like, oof.
And like not rich people either, like like everyday hardworking working class people.
Exactly. And to cloak this unethical practice, Jordan gives the firm the respectable sounding name Stratton Oakmont, and they pick it because it sounds respectable and historied.
So the company officially opens its doors in 1989 and soon becomes crazy successful. An expose is written in Forbes, which dubs Jordan the Wolf of Wall Street, and causes hundreds of ambitious young brokers to flock towards the company. It's funny. It's originally like kind of a hit piece on him.
Yeah, but all these young guys see the opportunity to make money working for him.
So while all this is happening, Jordan is kind of descending into a very bad habit of prostitute and drugs and spending money like crazy.
Yeah, he's becoming a real hedonist as he's getting richer and richer.
This is a great time to bring up one of my issues with this movie. I wouldn't even say it's an issue with the movie. This movie is kind of known to be like a favorite amongst lots of men. And do you know the whole thing where all these men will like kind of like idolize Jordan Belfort, and they only see him as this like alpha male, like top seller?
Okay, but men do that with like every good looking, like badass kind of character. Like they did it with Fight Club, they did it with American Psycho, where the satire could not have been more obvious.
I just like don't get it, because I guess again, this isn't really a critique on the movie, but like, do people watch this movie and think Jordan Belfort's cool? He's not. I feel like this movie makes fun of him in a lot of ways. Like,
it does.
He's a loser. He's a shit husband. He's like a baby in a lot of ways. He has a fucking drug problem. Like, there's only one part of this movie where he's like really envious, aside from the wealth. But every other scene, he's kind of like, I don't know. Like, if my boyfriend was ever like, yeah, Jordan Belfort's so fucking cool in this movie, I'd be like, ew. Like, I don't get how people look at this movie and think he's cool. He's fucking not.
I completely agree with you. And it is weird that Scorsese had to face a lot of criticism about this film, about how it doesn't explicitly condemn Jordan. I think it very much does.
I think it does. He's such a loser.
Yeah, and people shouldn't have to be. It's sad that people have to be like spoon-fed that kind of thing.
Totally.
Instead of like, you're watching this guy completely self-destruct throughout the film. Like, it's very Goodfellas. It's the rise and the fall.
Right.
You're watching him melt down. All he does is like screw people over. Like, he doesn't do anything cool. It does make you think though, like, do these idiots literally have to be spoon-fed that this is not a character that you're really supposed to like?
Yes.
It's so sad, and it's the absolute like outrage that some people get talking about this film, about how it glamorizes this lifestyle. No, it doesn't.
He loses.
Well, I mean, does he really? But that's also kind of the point, is that money is a cushion that prevents you from falling too far. But I don't know. Controversy like that does make me kind of lose faith in humanity, of like, oh, you really, like, you don't want anything to be up for interpretation. Like, you can't observe and take things from it. You have to be told things.
It's just so funny. Like, again, when you see like all these, again, the majority of the time it's men, but like people watching this movie and they're like, oh yeah, you just don't get it. Like, this is a movie for like entrepreneurs. And it's like, no, it's actually not.
It's actually not.
And the fact that you think that means you're so fucking stupid. Like, you are the kind of person Jordan Belfort would scam.
Yes.
So, well, he's also doing drugs and getting escorts and all this stuff. He's having an affair on his wife with this aspiring lingerie designer, Naomi LaPaglia. Is that
LaPaglia? Yeah. In
something
real life,
Italian.
Yeah. In real life, her name's Nadine, but they change a lot of the supporting characters' names from real life. Obviously, I understand maybe why these people wouldn't want to be represented in a film.
Right. She's played by Margot Robbie. This is kind of her breakout role.
This was her breakout role.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen a hotter person.
No, she is so blonde bombshell in this movie. Mm-hmm. Also, I just have to say it now. This movie, I mean, the female actresses in this movie really have to give it their all. Did she have a body double?
Well, wait, I actually know a fun fact about this.
Okay, I'm glad you know. I figured you would.
Wait, I love that this is coming up organically, and I do know a fun fact. So there's a scene where Jordan takes Naomi out to dinner, and like, she knows he's married, she knows the situation, but she still invites him back to her place after they finish dinner. And originally in the script, she goes into another room briefly and comes back out, and she was supposed to be wearing a robe.
Okay.
And Margot Robbie, apparently on the set on the day, like, they did a few takes with the robe, or maybe they did or they didn't. I think they did, because I think it was an on the day decision. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, this doesn't feel right. This woman's only currency right now is her body. And it would be best if she's naked or in lingerie, because this is her laying her cards on the table. Like, a robe could still be misconstrued.
Right. She's going for it.
Like, she needs to make it so clear that, like, she's going for it right now. Mm-hmm. So then, yeah, she is naked in the scene.
Crazy. And she's fully naked.
I don't know. It still felt very, like, it felt like looking at a statue.
Yes.
Maybe that's just because she's so pretty.
Yeah, I'm stunning. But once Jordan starts this affair, his wife discovers them, and Jordan divorces her and then immediately marries Naomi.
Mm-hmm. And then he's also horrible to her and cheats on her.
Yes. Like, yeah, he's the worst.
He's just the worst guy. So yeah. Also, as this is happening, the the SEC and FBI have started investigating Stratton Oakmont because they're doing illegal things. Now, by this point in the film, we're in 1993. Jordan illegally makes $22 million in 3 hours after securing the IPO of Steve Madden Limited, which was founded by Donnie's childhood friend, the shoe designer Steve Madden, who is very much a real guy. And this attracts more attention from the FBI.
Yeah, Jordan is advised not to communicate with the FBI whatsoever. And
He completely disregards
completely ignores it, invites the FBI investigator, Patrick Denham.
He does everything you shouldn't do.
Because he thinks
him.
he's untouchable. And that's what wealth does to you. It makes you think that you can just do all these things. He literally tries to bribe the FBI agent, thinking like, oh, I can just give him money and he'll go away. And the FBI agent is like, I'm sorry, did you just try to bribe a police officer? Like,
He's like, am I actually hearing this correctly?
yeah, he
like,
tries to like get him to do it again. And then he's like, and then Jordan finally fucking wises up and he's like, actually, never mind, leave.
Yeah. Jordan opens a Swiss bank account in the name of Naomi's Aunt Emma, who is a British citizen and therefore like outside the reach of American authorities. And he enlists Brad Bonnick's wife. Brad Bonnick is the drug dealer that he recruited to work for him. He enlists his wife, Chantal, who has a European passport, to smuggle cash into Switzerland, basically so that he can hoard his wealth somewhere outside of the United States where the FBI and SEC can't touch it.
Yeah, I mean, first, like, really smart thing he's kind of done all movie.
Yeah,
Still a crime.
Every fucking, like, rich guy has a Swiss bank account. I feel like that's
Totally.
such a thing. So soon after Jordan opens this bank account and the investigation's really ramping up, Donnie and Brad get into a really heated argument in public during a money exchange. Donnie is one of those guys that's always, like, poking at the people he's with. Like, he's always like ribbing on them and like jibing them. And this guy Brad's like a tough guy. Like, he like doesn't take to this.
Like, he doesn't like Donnie at all.
No.
I feel like Donnie, you're right, he likes to poke the bear a lot. And he's also like, he kind of reminds
He's a
me
little
of
shit. Like,
that one friend that like is always annoying and always gets too fucked up at parties and like is always kind of a little bit of like a nuisance or doesn't really get the joke.
yes.
But you somehow, like, he's always just still around and you're like, oh, I guess we didn't get rid of Donnie yet. Like,
yes, that's exactly who this guy is.
yeah, I mean, he's so insufferable.
Brad gets arrested. Donnie manages to get away. So this is, not great.
This is the beginning of the end, really.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So weeks later, Donnie, who, by the way, is keeping this a secret from Jordan because he knows that, like, it's a huge fuck up, really on his part.
100%
Like,
on his part.
Donnie is the one who, like, really fucked it up.
Exactly. Not only did he like wimp out and run away and leave Brad to the police, like screwing Jordan.
Yeah.
But he started the fight.
So he's hiding this from Jordan. Donnie tells Jordan that he has come up on some 714, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, Quaaludes, which is like the holy grail of drugs.
Yeah, and Jordan has been very vocal throughout the film about how Quaaludes are his favorite drug.
Yes, they do them a lot in the movie, and I mean, they look like
fun.
Fun? I was gonna say they look like fucking scary.
No, like, but everyone who's on them looks like they're having a great time.
Oh, everyone who's on them is sky high.
Yeah.
But
and these are supposed to be like the world's strongest Quaaludes.
yes, yeah. So they take the pills at Jordan's house, but they have no effect, and they assume that they've just expired. They take one, they wait like an hour, and they're like, I don't really feel anything. They take another one, they wait like another hour, they're like, I still don't really feel anything.
And then they're like, okay, they're probably expired. Let's just take the rest.
They're like, let's just take like 2 or 3 more.
Exactly. So that like maybe we'll get a little bit of a buzz.
Jordan's private investigator calls him at this point and tells him that they need to speak on a different phone, not one in Jordan's house. So Jordan drives to the local country club and calls him, where his private investigator says that the FBI has wiretapped his phones. Like, don't talk on the phone. your buddy got arrested. You are like fucked. While talking to Bo, the private investigator, the Quaaludes then kick in. And this is like, I think maybe my favorite scene in the movie.
Completely. It's a highlight of the film, if not the best scene.
Yeah.
It goes on for almost 10 minutes and it stays hilarious the entire time. Leonardo DiCaprio's physical comedy as this guy who's now so high, he's like not even a person.
He can't speak.
No, he can't speak. He can't move. Like, he's like drooling.
Yeah, he calls it the drool phase.
Yes, that's right. That's right. The phases of Quaaludes that they take you through.
It's funny. He then realizes he gets a call from Naomi, who says that Donnie is on the phone with the Swiss bank at their house. So like, could not be worse timing.
He's like on the floor.
No, literally.
He's like moaning.
And he's like trying to tell her like, get him off the phone, but he can't fucking speak. So Naomi's like, I don't know what you're saying. Just come home. So he drives his car completely high, gets home, where he finds Donnie on the phone and they start having a fight.
As much as these two people who like are like their brains aren't working can have a fight. Like they get tangled up in the phone cord.
Leonardo DiCaprio like climbing over the kitchen island to
and,
like get
can't
to the phone.
Reach the end. It's so funny.
Yeah, and it's just so chaotic too.
And then it's like they're both like yelling, neither of them can talk. And then Margot Robbie's like, what the fuck is going on?
Pregnant Margot Robbie is like, your daughter's in the next room. And he is like so high. And then at one point, Donnie starts choking. And seeing the screen and seeing Popeye take his spinach to get stronger, Jordan goes and takes a giant vial of cocaine and just snorts the whole thing to save his friend. And that is like, I think that might be the funniest part of the movie.
Agreed. So Jordan's father, Max, advises him to leave Stratton Oakmont and like lie low while his lawyer negotiates a deal with the FBI. And in the midst of his farewell speech, which this is probably my favorite scene, as he's saying goodbye to the company, he realizes that he cannot bear to quit and announces that he'll actually be staying on as CEO.
It's a very iconic scene.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah. It's great. You said it earlier. You're like, could you imagine being there while they were filming that?
No. DiCaprio, in this, he does so much that's so crazy to me. And the way that in this scene, he is able to command this room, hundreds of people are like hanging on to his every word. You as the viewer are hanging on to his every word. His like the sheer charisma and energy, like I just couldn't imagine him like stepping off the stage and Martin Scorsese going like, all right, let's do it again.
Right.
Like how
could you imagine like being like the audio guy and Leonardo DiCaprio's in the middle of it and they're like, we need to cut, like there's something wrong with the mic. And could you imagine that? Like
I would kill myself.
No, I'd be I'd probably have to walk off the set.
Yeah, no, I'd just like let them finish the take and pretend.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, we got it, it's fine. So it's now 1996. Jordan, Donnie, and their wives are on a yacht trip to Italy when they learn that Naomi's Aunt Emma has died of a heart attack. And big problem as Jordan's Swiss bank account is set up in Aunt Emma's name. So Jordan announces that they will chart a course to Switzerland to forge Aunt Emma's name on a document before they go to London for the funeral. Them trying to figure out how they're going to get to, like the conversation that they have of like, okay, we're going to go here and then here and then here. Was very funny to me. I was almost going to say I've been in that exact situation before. I haven't. But have you ever been in the situation?
You know when you want to go to Switzerland, but you're in the Alps and then like.
And then your aunt dies and you have money, you have $20 million in a bank account now. But like, you ever been in that situation where you're like, okay, I have to go here and then I have to go here, but wait, I have to go here first. Like you have to like talk yourself like
once a week.
Yeah. So I love like Jordan being like, first of all, I love, what's her name? Margot Robbie being like, well, we need to go to London for the funeral.
Well,
and
we need to go to London. He's like, wait, for what? For the funeral?
The funeral? It's so great. And I also love, he's like, she's dead. She's not going to go anywhere. Like he's like trying so hard to get out of this.
So to bypass border patrols, he orders his yacht captain to sail to Morocco, but their ship ends up capsizing in a storm. And he's warned before they leave, like, there's a really big storm, like it's unsafe sailing conditions. And he's like, we're fine.
He's like, no, we'll just get a little chop, right?
Yeah. Just a little chop.
And then it's like literally like 50-foot waves.
Yeah. No, they like almost all die.
So once they're rescued from the storm, Jordan decides he will get sober.
Yeah, it was a whole thing how like he didn't want to leave the boat as it's capsizing because like his quaaludes were still on it. Wasn't that how it went down?
Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, he's realizing maybe it's an issue.
So it's now 1998. 2 of Jordan's employees are arrested for some unrelated crime, and they decide to give the FBI information about Jordan to kind of get a plea bargain, lesser sentence, whatever. And since the evidence against Jordan is like becoming overwhelming at this point, he agrees to gather evidence from the rest of his colleagues in exchange for leniency.
Later, Jordan wears a wire to work, but instead of recording conversations like he's supposed to, he slips a note to Donnie and warns him that they're being recorded. So like, don't say anything incriminating. However, the note is found almost immediately by the FBI.
Because Jordan's he's so messy.
Hand wrote a goddamn note.
Also,
and it's also, you're in an office. Shredders are there.
Shredders are there. Eat the paper. Like, You're not even trying, man.
Yeah. And the FBI arrests Jordan and raids Stratton Oakmont. The movie is kind of coming to a close now, and we find out that despite breaching his deal, Jordan receives a reduced sentence of 36 months in a minimum security prison for his testimony. And he's released in 2000 after only serving 22 months, which is frankly insane.
Crazy.
And the movie does make a point of showing that he's in the luxury prison. Like, he's in like the rich white collar crime prison.
Right.
After his release, Jordan continues to make a living hosting seminars on sales techniques. And they're the exact same ones that he taught his first employees when he opened Stratton Oakmont years before.
Sell me this pen. Every alpha male loves that scene.
I know.
Like, okay. Yeah. Also, that's where we get the cameo from the real Jordan.
Yes, the real Jordan Belfort announces him as he comes on for his seminar.
And that is The Wolf of Wall Street.
It's the end of a movie. It's a very long movie.
Oh, God, it's so long. I mean, like, that actually might be my biggest issue with the movie is it is a 3-hour runtime. I felt like I'd been watching it for 3 to 5 business days. Like, it was crazy. So, and you know how I feel about long movies. Sometimes
you're not into it.
The majority of the time, I feel like they're unnecessary.
Completely understandable. I'd also probably side with you most of the time. This is one where I don't mind the length so much. Mm-hmm. When I first saw it, I took the length as a part of the movie's exploration of excess and like this life of excess, because the plot is so unrelenting. Like, there is no slow part.
No.
It is fast paced. It is, by the time it finishes, you're tired from watching it.
Yep.
And also just the levels of debauchery that are shown in the film that we didn't even really touch on just going through the plot.
Oh yeah. This movie is rated X. Not literally, but
like the drugs, the prostitutes, strippers, just like this absolute hedonism. And then with it being so long, I almost took the length as like, okay, it's in tone with everything being so excessive.
Right.
But then Martin Scorsese has kept making like 3+ hour long movies, and I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't about that.
I love you trying to find like the deeper meaning and being like, no, it's symbolic, because I love that interpretation.
For so long I would say that it was like, oh no, it's long because the movie is an exploration of excess.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah,
exactly. But
then The Irishman came out, and then this movie came out.
Every other movie he's done since The Wolf of Wall Street has been over 3 hours long. So maybe Martin Scorsese just needs to like learn how to cut.
Yeah, maybe he needs to like.
Maybe we can teach him a few things.
Yeah. Martin Scorsese, you could learn something from us. Like, but you're right. I mean, it is like, okay, buddy, like, you don't need to use all your footage.
It's just like, yeah, no, it's long. I personally don't mind the length, I guess, because I find it so consistently funny that like I feel like the laughs really do stay laughs through the film.
That's true. This is a very funny movie.
It's so funny.
I love the scene where they're interrogating the butler. This is my dad's favorite scene too.
Yes.
And they're like, Kevin, you know Kevin. And Jonah Hill's like, what? I don't. And all the guys are looking at him like, what the fuck? You know Kevin? And they're like, he's like, no, I don't. What the hell? I mean, maybe I do. Like,
Kevin? I don't know Kevin. Who's Kevin?
he's like, I saw you, at the Lollipop Club. And he's like, oh, I mean, I like to dance. What? It's so great.
And that's what's so great too, is so much of the film was improv. Like so much of the dialogue was improv. Oh, Martin Scorsese went into the film, like pretty much all of the supporting actors, he specifically cast seasoned improvists because that was the intention going into it. And they kill it.
Yeah, the comedy is very strong in this movie.
So funny. And Jonah Hill and DiCaprio, like, hats off to you guys. Like, you didn't get, slack with success. They both, you could tell, really put a lot into this. And yeah, no, I think it's a great film. I'd probably give this one like a 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like this movie.
Yeah, I don't know why I said wow. I know it's like one of your favorites. I just can't get over the runtime. Like, it's something that really holds me back from really loving this movie.
The runtime is why it's not a 10 in my book.
I would say I think I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Like, it's strong. Yeah. It's not my favorite movie ever. Like, it's just not really. It's also, I have to say,
like it's not your taste.
It's not really my taste. I love Martin Scorsese. I think he's great, but I just prefer other movies by him.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't bring it up earlier, but I very strongly hate a specific subgenre of movies, and that is businessmen doing business things in a business office, and they're talking about business the whole movie. Like, movies like that, I don't get any joy from. This movie is like the rare exception.
Okay.
Because the movie isn't so much about business, it's more about Jordan and his life of debauchery. But yeah, like, movies like that, I literally would rather put a gun to my head.
That is so funny because I love that subgenre.
No,
I mean, love businessy people doing businessy things.
No,
I love it.
Like, my sister and her boyfriend just saw Glenn Ross on Broadway.
Oh, what did they say?
They said it was great, but that movie, like, you couldn't pay me to watch that movie again.
It's really good. That's crazy, actually.
It's just not for me. Again, this movie is an exception because it's not so much about that, but it teeters a little bit.
It does teeter.
I don't know what really my opinion on this movie as it concerns wealth and how it's portrayed in the media, because I feel like it's hard when it's based on a true person.
Completely agree. I would say that the characterization of Jordan himself is so negative that while the movie could maybe sometimes luxuriate in the settings and in like the beauty of the settings, it never felt distracting. It doesn't do it distractingly so.
No.
And I don't ever think it really endorses any of Jordan's behavior.
No, not at all.
If anything, I feel like, especially like there's a bachelor party scene where they rent a private plane and fill it with prostitutes and drugs, and it's so disgusting. And then they show like the morning after of Jordan waking up, and there are just like naked bodies everywhere, and like you could almost smell that room.
I know, it felt so fucking gross watching it.
I know, but while yes, it's like, oh, the beautiful mansions and the beautiful yachts, it also shows you like the really kind of gross side of the excess. I didn't ever feel like anything was endorsed.
I also think like, and in a specific way, not like really this is the point of the movie, but I feel like you could also argue like Jordan kind of embodies that whole Wall Street 80s capitalistic movement of wealth that was happening, and he is kind of the personification of this much larger movement that was happening at the time, and that's kind of
very much, and that's definitely what the film's trying to position him as. 100%.
And so that's what I mean with how this movie shows wealth. Like, yes, it's showing Jordan's life specifically, but I think this movie is trying to show him as like, this is what that era of wealth was like.
Exactly. And also, interestingly, and we'll get into this a little more with Parasite, but he only acquires wealth kind of through his corruption.
Oh, yeah.
Like that he gets wealthy because he's corrupt.
Yeah.
And it's almost in this way of, well, why wouldn't you be? That's how you get rich. Which is, I did find that interesting, that it doesn't, there aren't really any characters that you meet who have acquired wealth in like a non-shady way.
Yeah, it's, that's definitely a big nature versus nurture type of debate when it comes to wealth. And you're right, it's perfect for this next movie we're going to talk about.
Yes.
All right, so the final movie we're talking about today is Parasite. Maybe one of my favorite movies ever. I think
Really?
I've recently discovered that.
It's up there for me. I mean, it's so good.
It's
just such a solid film.
It's a masterpiece, in my opinion.
No,
Like,
I'd agree.
There's so much about it. It was made in 2019, directed by Bong Joon-ho, who is a Korean filmmaker. He is like up there with
Park Chan-wook,
yeah,
definitely.
He is
top tier.
Totally. It was also written by Bong Joon-ho and Han Jin-won. I probably am going to say most of these names wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
our
sorry.
Sincere apologies.
This is Old Boy all over again.
Literally.
We'll try our best, but like, we're not very good at this.
No, we're not. So the film premiered at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival, where it won the Palme d'Or, which is the festival's highest honor. It was then picked up for U.S. distribution by Neon, who has picked up the Palme d'Or winner for the past like 7 years.
Yeah, Neon is pretty.
They're on it.
Yeah, they're pretty legit.
It premiered as a limited release in October 2019, and then was received so well in its limited release that it was given like a major theatrical run the following month. It received, as you probably know, 6 total Academy Award nominations, and it won 4 of them.
So well deserved. Like,
Completely.
It was. I don't remember the other films that were nominated that year, but I think everyone at the Oscars knew like it should go to Parasite.
This is like the only year in recent memory that I was like, no, yes, like they got it 100% right.
Also, so funny because I'm pretty sure it was in his Best Director speech, just because we just talked about The Wolf of Wall Street. Bong Joon-ho gave a very sweet kind of like, I don't know, would you call it a thank you? Or just kind of like called out Martin Scorsese in a very nice way, where he basically was like, I grew up watching your movies. Like, you are the reason why I got into filmmaking. And it was a very sweet moment seeing like, and I think Martin Scorsese felt very honored.
He looked like he was about to, I think he got a little teary, actually.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel like seeing someone on a stage winning an Oscar saying like you are the reason why they got into filmmaking?
I know.
Like, I would be so, it's just such an amazing feeling.
It's an honor. And then also like, I can imagine that, okay, maybe for some it's disappointing, but I would also hope that for some, directors are deep down people who love movies.
Totally.
And I can imagine that there is something maybe slightly disappointing, but also really nice about passing the baton to like the new generation of great filmmakers. Mm-hmm. And that moment at the Oscars, like it really felt like that moment.
No, that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like him passing the torch.
Yes. Okay, so the Kim family live in a shabby semi-basement apartment in Seoul, South Korea. The family is struggling to make ends meet, and they work low-paying odd jobs like folding pizza boxes. The family is made up of parents Ki-taek and Chung-suk, and their 2 children, their son Ki-woo and their daughter Ki-jung. So right away, we are introduced to the family kind of by seeing the conditions they live in.
Yes. I'm pretty sure the first shot is their only window in their house, which is like an eye level to the street.
Yeah, like they're halfway underground essentially. It's a half basement, which is like so much of the production design in this film, very symbolic.
Yes, this movie has a lot of really great. I mean, this movie is very symbolic, very metaphorical, and we'll get into it as the film goes on, I'm sure. But like, there's a lot of visual symbolism.
It is a very meticulously designed film.
Totally.
And I love to see when directors really take the visual medium of film seriously. It makes me so happy.
Yes, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because in Metropolitan, I was like, you don't need a fancy camera and you don't need millions of dollars.
That's the thing is, if you have that, there's no excuse for your film to not be visually interesting.
Not be visually interesting and not have like, again, the visual metaphors, the visual symbolism. Like it tells a story.
Yes. I took this class in college. Please keep this in.
Okay.
I took this class in college called The Nature of Narrative, where it was one of my favorite classes I ever took. Shout out David Rosenwasser, great professor. But we learned that in a well-told story, every single element of that story is included to bolster whatever the main point or message is. And I think that Parasite is so strong and so tight because every single scene, every visual, every character is there to underscore the film's point.
We're getting a little off topic, so I'm going to say this super quickly. But
no, that's fine.
This is why I love film. Because film takes the visuals, the writing, the acting, the music, everything. And like you said, a great movie like Parasite will all have it work together to relay the message of the film. So one evening, Kiwoo's friend Min Hyuk, I hope I'm saying that right, who's a college student, visits and gifts the Kims a very large rock, which is supposed to bring them wealth. And as he's leaving to study abroad, Min suggests to Kiwoo that he lies about his qualifications to take over Min's job as an English tutor for the teenage daughter of a very wealthy family named the Park family.
Yes. Kiwoo is, I want to say, about 19 or 20. Like,
yes.
His friend is a university student.
He is not a university student.
No. And it's made very clear that he's apparently taken entrance exams 4 times and passed them with flying colors. Like,
he's very smart.
That he's very smart. The reason that he's not in university is because his family can't afford to send him. This guy Min, who's in college, is just like, well, yeah, like, you can still tutor her. Like, you're probably 20 times smarter than like half the guys I go to school with, and you've taken the entrance exam 1,000,000 times. Like, you'll be fine.
Kiwoo then travels to the Park's amazing mansion and impresses Mrs. Park. In the interview, she hires him to be the daughter's tutor.
Yes. Great detail, just recurring visual motif in the film of stairs and hills.
You took the sentence right out of my mouth.
No, of course, and I'm sure we'll discuss it throughout.
Yes.
But really great visual metaphor so they live in a half basement. We actually follow Kiwoo on his way to the interview at the Park's house, and literally to step out of his home, he has to walk upstairs.
Yes.
So right away, he's climbing.
He quite literally has to climb out of the poverty to reach the Parks.
Yes.
Which we'll see over and over in a bunch of different ways in this movie.
Great visual metaphor.
Again, their environment is so purposeful. So after seeing how much the Parks are paying Kiwoo just to be the daughter's English tutor, the Kims very quickly scheme up this plan to secure jobs for each family member in the household while hiding the fact that they are one family.
Yes. This sequence of them all trying to basically con their way into jobs in this household is my favorite part of the film.
It's so I can't say it's my favorite part of the film because every part of the film is my favorite part of the film.
That's true.
But it's so, I see what you mean. It is so great. This little montage. It starts with Mrs. Park wanting to find an art teacher for the family's son. His name is Da Song.
And he is a normal kid that the parents, because they're like rich, they're like, oh, he's like an artistic soul. No, he just like has ADHD.
Right. He just likes to color and run around and get his energy out like any normal kid. Ki Jung pretends to be a professional art therapist named Jessica. Ki Jung then gets Mr. Park's driver fired by framing him for sexual misconduct when he offers to give her a ride home one day, and recommends that he be replaced by her uncle Kim, who is actually her father.
There's a great bit where they go to a Mercedes dealership to like scope out the kind of car that he'll have to pretend like he's an expert at driving.
Yes, to see like the different mechanisms and stuff like that.
And it's really great too that as they all start getting jobs in the Park household, you can see the food that they eat get better and better.
Yeah, they start out the film having like sodas and like, I don't even know what food they're eating. They don't really show it.
No, but it's like something like not even takeout. It's like microwave food.
Yeah, and then they're at like a buffet.
As they start to make a little money.
And then they're having like Korean barbecue one night.
Yes.
Yes, that's such a great detail.
And one of the odd jobs that the family held before getting employed by the Parks was they would fold pizza boxes. And then as they've all started to make money, there's a scene where they actually get to order the pizza and eat it.
They're eating at the pizza shop.
So kind of showing their climb in another sense.
Yeah, the final step to this plan is the Kims decide to exploit the very severe peach allergy of the Park's longtime housekeeper. Her name is Moon Gwang. Again, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. So once she is kicked out, they basically frame her to have like TB.
Yeah.
Which is like so hilarious. So she's fired. And the mother, Chung Suk, is hired as her replacement.
And they are unconcerned about the driver, about Moon Gwang.
No.
The fact that these are, and they say it over and over and over again, that right now in South Korea, no one can get a job. That's why they have to resort to basically conning their way into jobs. But they're literally getting innocent people who have done these jobs for very long times and are well qualified to do them. They're getting them fired, and they're virtually unconcerned.
It's funny you say that because there's actually a scene where the father, Ki Taek, is saying something like, oh, don't you feel bad a little bit? And it's Ki Jung who's like, we need to worry about ourselves. Like, we are not doing well. We have to put ourselves first. Like, sorry to them, but like, we need to do what's best for us. And this is a great time to bring up the parasitic nature of the Park family, or not the Park family, the Kim family.
Yes, this is when I was watching it. I saw it in theaters for the first time. Very happy I did.
Oh, so nice.
It was great. When I was watching it for the first time, obviously, and I think this is the part for a lot of people, when you see them tricking their way into the household, Parasite.
It's so great. This movie, I mean, we can't do it justice, and I'm not going to like try to go into every single because this movie, you need to watch it multiple times just to appreciate it. Every time you watch it, you appreciate it more and more.
100%. If you've only seen this once, you haven't gotten everything out of it.
You're doing a disservice to yourself.
No, you are. There's so much. This watching it for this is probably my 4th time watching it, and I noticed things that I hadn't noticed before.
It's so great because when you first watch this movie, I feel like you kind of villainize the Kim family very quickly. You're like, oh my gosh, like they're getting these people fired, and you know, like they're leeching off this like wealthy household and stuff. But in one of the lines earlier in the film, you learn that the Kim family has had this business, they've had a cake shop, they've had this, they've had that. They have tried every job under the sun. And you also learn that the Kim family father, he was like a successful athlete.
Yeah.
In South Korea. And even, what's his name? Ki-woo explains like his parents are healthy. They just literally can't find work, which like is so relatable now currently in America.
Oh, big time.
So you understand like this really is kind of a last resort for them.
As the Kims grow a little more comfortable now that they're getting money and have secure jobs, they start to resent the fact that they're the employees.
Oh, 100%.
But when it's like, you are being paid. You are providing a service. The parks are not bad people. They're not mistreating them.
No. There's definitely worse people to work for.
100%. They're perfectly pleasant people to work for. They're not abusive. They're not like overly demanding from what we see. I don't think that an American film, like let's say an American filmmaker took on this exact concept, the parks would be horrible people.
Oh, 100%.
The parks would be horrible. The Kims would be more virtuous.
Yes, you would. I feel like they would be more justified.
They would be.
Yeah.
And more like, they would be made more overtly likable. And I really, really love that Bong Joon-ho went in a more neutral route in regards to the characterizations. No one is completely good or completely bad because they're all complicated people. But the parks are really, their sin is being naive.
So weeks pass, the parks go on an overnight camping trip, and they leave the mansion in Chung-suk's care. The Kims take this opportunity to hang out and drink in the house together. I love that they also completely trash the house too.
Yeah.
It's literally, and I'm using this comparison because the movie is literally called Parasite. It's literally like cockroaches.
No, it's exactly
And
like
in fact, they
cockroaches.
actually compare themselves to cockroaches in one scene.
And they all sit on the floor instead of on the furniture.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So in the middle of their party, whatever you want to call it, the former housekeeper, Moon Kwang, rings the doorbell.
this
This is where shit hits the fan.
it is, when I tell you, I just love, this is one of those moments that makes me just love movies. Of, where the film's going, they've conned their way into these jobs. Now they're taking advantage of the situation. They're chilling in the house. It's empty. They're all drinking, laughing. You're, as a viewer, you're curious about where the film's going to go, but you kind of know where it's going to go.
You can at least theorize.
And then the doorbell rings and they freeze and you freeze. And then you see her on the monitor going like, hello, can you please
I
let
just
me
got
in?
goosebumps, Olivia.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. And it's just such a great moment of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's the turning point of the film, and it feels like a turning point.
It's so great because putting on this movie, it's like a thriller type movie, but you have no idea where it's going. And so when the housekeeper comes up, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Why is she there? Like, where is this going?
And if you have not seen Parasite and you're watching this video, turn it off right now.
Go watch
Go watch Parasite.
Go watch Parasite. Even if you have seen it, turn it off, go watch Parasite, come back.
Yes.
Also, just like we're saying, like, this is the turning point. This is like where the second act really starts. The pacing in this movie,
Fantastic.
amazing.
Fantastic.
This movie is, I think, just over 2 hours long, maybe a little, like 2 hours, 15 minutes.
It flies by.
It does not feel like that even a little bit.
It really is. It's another one that's pretty unrelenting pace-wise, but this one's just so incredibly well-paced.
So yes, Moon Kwang shows up. She claims that she came to retrieve something she left in the basement. Ominous.
The other Kims hide, and Chung-suk, who is the new housekeeper, so she's the only one who's actually permitted to be in the house at this time. She lets Moon Kwang in and takes her down to the basement. There, Moon Kwang opens a hidden door to a secret bunker that exists under the house. It's then revealed that her husband, Gunsei, has actually been hiding in the basement for 4 years to avoid loan sharks. And this descent into the basement is so fantastic.
It's terrifying.
When she opens that door and
you follow
her down all these stairs and down into these tunnels, and it's like, wait, where are we? Like, what is this?
It's so, when I tell you, like, you could not have prepared me for that.
No.
Like, I was thinking the first time I saw this movie, I was like, oh, maybe she's crazy. Maybe like the family's crazy and she's going to reveal something about the parks or something. And then you're right. When you follow her down the stairs, you're like, wait, where is this movie going? Chung-suk is like super freaked out by this and threatens to call the police When the rest of the Kims who are eavesdropping accidentally fall into view, Moon Kwang records the footage of the new staff addressing each other as like mom and dad, and threatens to expose them. First of all, this scene kind of pisses me off because Chung Suk, here's how you play this off. So, okay, Moon Kwang is like, oh, please, my husband, like, we're avoiding loan sharks. If you could just feed him every, like, 2 days, not even every 2 days, just once a week. And Chung Suk is like, this is ridiculous. I'm calling the police. Girl, here's what you do in that situation. Okay, first of all, she should have just let him stay. Because, like,
I mean, obviously, but that is what, I mean, isn't that the point of the film? That, no. You think that we're all the same and that I'm going to help you because we're the same. We're not the same. I'm better than you.
I know, but here's what she should have done, even if she did think that. You go, oh my gosh, yes, sis, of course. I got you. Your husband can live here. Your secret's safe with me. Moon Kwang leaves. The next day, she should go to the park. She should have gone to the parks and been like, I was looking in the basement for something and I discovered this hidden door. Let's call the police. Get the husband out of here. You're totally innocent. Instead, she decides to like freak out and threaten to call the police. And then, of course, the family comes. So now they're kind of in this like standoff where like Moon Kwang has this recording and is like, fuck you. You weren't going to let my husband stay here. So
literally
now,
it's like the finger on the trigger. Like it's like hovering over the send button.
Yeah, I think they compare it to like North Korea and like having like a missile launcher.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So while they're kind of speaking, Moon Kwang's husband reveals that he has been trying to contact Mr. Park via Morse code for several years. There's like a little lighting thing down in this basement.
There are light switches in the bunker that control some of the lights in the dining room.
But of course, Mr. Park doesn't understand Morse code.
No, they just think that they have a faulty bulb.
Yeah. Suddenly, the Parks call to inform the Kims that they are returning early due to a severe rainstorm.
I love this.
This scene is so tense.
Because you're already so stressed out of like, what's going to happen? How is this going to go down? How are the Kims going to get away with this? Like with these two people now who know what they've done. When she calls and is like, yeah, it's raining. We're actually heading home. We're not going camping. It's like, oh my God.
And also, right before they call, a struggle ensues between the Kims. And first of all, it's 2v4 and they couldn't take him down. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's my one issue with this movie. But it's fine. But it's like a violent struggle. Like,
and also I don't hate to be this person. It's who I am. But you are literally seeing the poor climbing on top of each other to try to like climb the stairs.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You are watching these people pull each other down and climb over each other to get up this set of stairs, which is, if that is not so symbolic for what the film is trying to discuss.
And that is peppered all throughout this movie. So the Kims quickly subdue the two of them and clean up their mess and hide because like the family is like 5 minutes away. Moon Kwang breaks free and tries to run up into the kitchen, but Chung Suk pushes her down the basement stairs.
I mean,
oh my God.
If that, again, how symbolic.
I gotta say, Chung Suk has a darkness within her. She's
the mom of the Kim family.
Yeah,
she's the coldest one out of all of them.
The most cynical. She's the most realistic, especially when you compare it to the father, who is very like weirdly optimistic. But yeah, when she kicks her down the stairs and she smacks her head, oh my God, I can't not wince. Like, it's awful.
No, I think most people watching that scene thought that she died.
I thought she died too. When the Parks arrive back home, Mrs. Park tells Chung Suk about her son being traumatized one birthday by a ghost emerging from the basement. Chung Suk knows the ghost was probably Gunsei coming up to steal food from the kitchen.
So they return to their apartment, and we see them returning to their apartment by descending hills, descending stairs, like walking under underpasses. Like their route home from the Parks is nothing but a decline.
And keep in mind, it's pouring rain, and it is like flooding their feet as they're walking. And the further down they walk,
the more it's flooded.
and keep in mind, now a lot of this is also sewer water.
They managed to return to their apartment and they discovered it is completely flooded with sewage from the storm. They salvage what they can from it, including the large rock that Min Hyuk gave the family at the beginning of the film, this rock that's supposed to bring them wealth.
Yes, while this is happening, Moon Kwang dies from the head injury that she sustained in the basement, but not before freeing her husband from the bonds that
the Kims like tied him up to subdue him basically, and she manages to free him before dying.
The next day, Mrs. Park is organizing a garden party for Da Song's birthday, and she enlists the Kim parents, so Mr. and Mrs. Kim,
who is her housekeeper and driver respectfully.
Yes, to assist in like helping arrange the party, while the younger Kims, Ki Woo and Ki Jong, are invited as guests.
Yeah, because they're the kids' tutors.
Yeah. So Ki Woo, the night before, promises his father that he will take care of the mess that they have kind of fallen into. And so I think this is his plan being put into action. He enters the underground bunker with his giant scholar's rock, and he's intending to kill Gunsei and Moon Kwang. Ki Woo finds Moon Kwang already dead because she's died from her concussion. And Gunsei ambushes him, cracking his head open with the rock before leaving the bunker. And can I just say, I mean, talk about like symbolism.
Yeah.
We talked about symbolism with the stairs, but the thing that is,
like the thing that they are trying to kill each other with is literally the promise of wealth.
It's just so funny because Ki Woo like is holding on to this wealth. And again, it's weaponized against him
By another person struggling.
Yes.
Like it's not the wealthy that are beating down the
No.
underprivileged.
They're
It's them
fighting over the
each
wealth.
other. Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. So once he attacks Ki Woo, Gunsei emerges from the bunker and stabs Ki Jong with a kitchen knife in front of the entire party.
Yeah, he emerges from the basement, walks into the party, grabs a knife, and stabs her.
And I mean, his mind is gone.
He's been in this windowless bunker below this house for 4 years. Like when we first meet him, he's already a little... And now his one thing, his wife, who he loved very much, was
gone.
taken from him.
Very violently and
Yeah.
right in front of him. Also, just because we said like he's been in the bunker for so long, he has a great line where he says, "I feel like I was born here." And he talks about living in the bunker. And I'm like, oh my God, if that couldn't be any more fucking symbolic for how these people are supposed to be like cockroaches.
Ki Taek is like disgusted. He's like, you're comfortable living like this? And Gunsei is like, well, yeah, a lot of people live in basements, like especially if you consider half basements. And
You can see Ki Taek like,
seize up.
yeah,
Of like, no, I'm not like you. I'm only halfway underneath.
right.
You're all the way down.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
just
so good.
So good.
And I think this is really a turning point in Ki Taek's character because you follow him and his like emotional, I mean, you follow the whole family, but you really follow him and how unsettled he gets. And I think he really drives that resentment.
Yes.
And I think it's moments like him in the bunker with Gunsei where he's talking and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing I'm more like you. And also like, I'll never be close to Mr. Park.
Yeah.
And also
Like, I'm only just kind of above you.
And also like, I think throughout this movie, he realizes like, oh, my family and I will never be seen as human to people like the Parks. We're being paid and yes, we're, being compensated for our work.
But your relationship with them is employee-employer. Like, the only way they interact with you is you're subordinate.
Again, yes, they're being compensated, but there's a very, very small line, a very fine tightrope that the Kims can walk, even as their employees,
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, one wrong step and this life is taken away from you. And it's like, that's the hard part about movies like this, because you see the Kim family and it's like, even if they didn't scam their way into these positions, it's like, oh, wow, you really can't mess up even once. And this job means everything to them. Like, it is their life.
Yeah.
Where for the Parks, it's like, oh, we just need a new housekeeper.
But it's about how money can afford that kind of laissez-faire attitude, because your life will always stay cushioned and the same while these people's lives depend on that $30 an hour.
Yeah. Sorry. Going back, I went on a whole tangent there. I can do that for hours about this movie. Going back to the birthday party, Ki Jung is stabbed with a kitchen knife in front of everyone. Chaos very quickly unfolds. Da Song, who's, again, the birthday boy, suffers a seizure upon seeing the ghost again, who we know to be Gun-se. And Chung Suk impales him with a barbecue skewer because he's basically attacking anyone he can see.
Yeah. So Ki Tek runs to his daughter, Ki Jung, to tend to her because she just got stabbed. She's super injured. While he's tending to her, Mr. Park is freaking out about his son, Da Song, and starts ordering Ki Tek to take Da Song to the hospital. It had also been established earlier that when a child has a seizure, there's a very short window of time that you have available to get them help before they suffer like serious brain injuries. So he's saying, like, get over here now, get the car, we're taking him to the hospital. He's like convulsing on the ground, this kid. Ki Tek is momentarily like absolutely enraged that his daughter is lying bleeding below him and Mr. Park is only concerned about his son. He grabs Gun-se's knife and stabs Mr. Park.
I think it's when Mr. Park moves Gun-se's body out of the way so he can get his car keys. I think that's the moment that Ki Tek just snaps.
But I really like how ambiguous the scene is.
Right, like
Mr. Park really isn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
His son is like maybe about to have a brain injury.
Right. And it's also like
and also
I'm sure everyone's adrenaline is going crazy.
Exactly. And also like he doesn't know that that's your daughter.
He doesn't know that that's your daughter. And also like the man who just ruined the birthday party and started attacking people, like I would probably not be super sympathetic towards him too. Yeah, that's such a good point. It's like he's not really doing anything wrong, but from following the Kim family, you can kind of almost be
you see where the anger comes from. You've seen it kind of build. You've seen the resentment build. You understand where that flash of anger, of like murderous rage comes from. But at the same time, it's not satisfying because Mr. Park didn't really deserve it.
After stabbing Mr. Park, Ki Tek flees the scene.
We fade out after this. Oh, man, it's a crazy scene.
I mean, talk about a great climax in a movie. I mean, everything builds to this point. It's so satisfying.
Weeks later, Ki Woo and Chung Suk have been convicted of fraud. They're placed on probation. Ki Jung has died from her injuries, very sadly. And Ki Tek is now a wanted fugitive. He has disappeared. No one knows where he is. Gun-se is just presumed to have been a homeless man, and the motive behind the murders is unsolved.
Right.
So everyone just thinks that he was a homeless guy who like wandered into the party with a knife and started stabbing people.
Ki Woo spies on the Park's former home, which is now owned by a foreign family, and notices a Morse code message in the light visible from the outside, the same light that Gun-se used to send messages to Mr. Park. It now is being sent by we don't know who.
The film ends with Ki Woo basically reading a letter that he's writing to his father, who it's revealed is now living in the bunker. That I know.
I mean, it's so good.
It's so
I can't.
No, it's just such a great movie. And he's reading this letter in voiceover, and he's vowing to his father that he's gonna make enough money one day to buy the house, and when he does, all you'll have to do is walk up the stairs and come home.
Fuck you. You took my last note.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No.
Because it's like, but how hard is it? It's borderline impossible to climb those stairs.
That's what I mean. It's like, also, it's like, buddy, you got to climb those stairs first. You got to make the money first. And you're right. That being the last line of the movie, like, all you'll have to do is just walk up the stairs. But until then, like, hold on.
Chills.
I wrote, this movie is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
When this movie came out, I think everyone in Hollywood was like, oh, we kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we should be doing. Shit, we're really behind. Hot take. I think a lot of movies, again, have tried to live up to Parasite. And just
with half the artistry and intention.
I really don't know when a movie will, like, really set the bar like that again.
No.
Especially a Hollywood movie. Like, it'll probably come out of Korea and then another, like, 10 years.
No, literally Korea or France or somewhere where they're, like, still making interesting movies. No, I mean, Hollywood makes some good films.
Yeah.
But, like, they put out a lot and only some are great.
But, yeah, it's amazing. I really have, like, nothing genuinely bad to say about this movie. There's no weak point in the acting, in the writing, in the direction, even, like, the music and the editing.
Excellent.
Everything is so solid. Nothing in my mind falls below, like, an 8 out of 10, just in terms of, like, specific parts. I have to give it a 10 out of 10.
I'm going, like, 9.5. It's, like, right on the cusp of a 10.
It's just so good in my opinion.
It's absolutely fantastic. And it's interesting, too, that this is the only film we've watched for this episode that engages with impoverished people.
Yes.
Like, in The Wolf of Wall Street, the people that Jordan is screwing over are, like, back of mind.
They're voices on a phone that we will never meet.
Exactly. Like, we know they're there, but we never have to face them. Here, it's this film is about the struggle, about the people who struggle in an unequal system.
We didn't even scratch the surface of how many metaphors and how much symbolism is in this movie.
There's so much, like, character specific symbolism. Like, there are so many visual moments too of, like, thematic resonance that we really didn't even scratch the surface. Like, all I can say is really, like, everyone should go watch it. It's just a really good movie, and it's, like, kind of a crowd pleaser too.
Yeah, again, like,
it's not like an artsy fartsy, like, anyone can enjoy this.
My dad, who famously hates movies that need subtitles, and don't talk about it.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. To quote Bong Joon-ho, there's a whole world of magic, and he probably didn't say magic, but, like, there's a whole world of wonder that's available when you get past the 3-inch barrier of subtitles.
I completely agree.
I think he said that in his Best Director acceptance speech. I'm, like, 90% sure.
I don't blame him. I don't want to talk about my dad not enjoying movies. Like, he just doesn't prefer them. I remember when we watched Parasite, he watched it with us and he liked it. And then I told them, I was like, oh, I had to watch Parasite for the podcast. And he was like, oh, that's a good movie. My dad, who famously, like, is not really into that. Like, even so you don't have to be like, oh, I'm not really a film person. You don't have to be.
No, you
like,
really don't.
You just have to like good movies.
Yeah. Oh, this was fun. Honestly, overall, like, I enjoyed Parasite and Wolf of Wall Street are, like, 2 favorites. So really enjoyed getting to rewatch those again, and enjoyed Metropolitan for what it was. Again, probably wouldn't, like, rank it super high, but it was fine.
Yeah, again, like, I like it for what it is.
Yeah.
Would I watch it again? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe if someone was like, oh, what's a good, like, indie movie? I'd be like, this movie's pretty solid.
Favorite of the week, I'm assuming we're both aligned on Parasite.
I mean, it might be my favorite movie we've just watched so far.
Honestly, valid.
I thought wealth was an interesting topic to do this week.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of discussion around, you know, eat the rich movies, and which is how stupid. I'm sorry.
It's just something that I think is
it's just like a theme that will always resonate because there will always be economic inequality across civilization. So
also, like, I don't know, maybe I'm using this term wrong, but doesn't it kind of, like, give oxymoron a little bit, where it's like, you can't have an eat the rich movie because, like, these movies are made by billion-dollar like production companies.
That's what people really like to ignore. But overall, yeah, thank you guys for joining us. If you would like to watch along with us, next week we will be discussing anti-heroes.
I'm excited.
I know. We'll be watching some classics. We'll be watching Taxi Driver, Clockwork Orange, and Nightcrawler from 2014, which is like an underrated favorite of mine. Maybe not favorite. It's an underrated gem.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I think anti-heroes are something that like everyone's heard the term, but not a lot of people actually like can think of examples of an anti-hero.
So true. We tried to pick like, again, a more kind of indie film and then some of the most iconic cinematic anti-heroes.
Yes. Also,
and our first Kubrick.
Oh, yes. We're finally getting to Kubrick. Olivia's so excited.
I am. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So if you guys want to check out those movies and then check in with us next week, that's what we'll be doing.
We'll be here.
All right. Well, I'm Maggie.
I'm Olivia.
Bye.
Bye.